today. AI, artificial intelligence. Is it real? Do you need it? Does it do what it says it does? Everybody says they have it. Everybody says theirs is the best.
Most of them are
I've got,
liars.
I've got Jarrod Kilway, old friend of mine today from Konect AI. And how you doing, big guy?
Jim, I'm doing great as always. It's always a pleasure to see you and catch up. I feel like we just talked a little bit about this with you and Bobbie and some others just yesterday, and I look back and I'm like, gosh, that was almost a month ago already. Now, can you believe it?
Right, where are you today? Looks like you're in a prison cell there. What are you?
Kind of.
I'm at the mobile office here in South Miami.
So you're in a motorhome.
Yep, I am in the motorhome here in Miami. We're between Miami and Fort Myers now, with the girls doing competitive gymnastics and training over here. The beauty of what we do, Jim, all we need is a laptop and internet, and we can work anywhere.
We could do business on the moon. And speaking about a, a
Business
woman
on the
that
moon.
is one of the most one of the most brilliant women on the moon. Now, one of the most brilliant women in the car business, the queen of BDC. Also, I just found out lately you are an expert on AI. Hi, Bobbie.
Hi. Well, I don't know if I believe that anybody is an expert on AI right now, especially, but I definitely am an advocate for and person who is fascinated by. So my learning experience in it has been pretty large.
Well, I've got very limited knowledge, so I'm going to let you two carry the show. I'll let you ask questions of each other.
Yeah.
Jarrod Kilway from Konect AI, Bobbie Herron from Bees Knees Agency. Hi, guys.
Hi, hi.
Hey, hey.
Take it, Bobbie.
All right. Well, so I'm a big proponent of AI, but I also believe that there's some dangerous things involved in it, not just in AI itself, but in the thought process that it's so new for most of our dealers and most of our industry that it can be easy to get taken advantage of. So I'm kind
Everybody's
of
got
known
it.
for, yeah, and I'm kind of known for putting people's, feet to the fire when it comes to vendors for dealers. Uh, and I believe that it has to be that way right now. So I'm looking to really vet a lot of the vendors right now to see if is what they have really AI, or is it what we used to call AI, which is like some level one stuff, right? It's like
Machine
a chat
learning,
bot.
yes,
It's a chat bot,
absolutely.
right?
Is
It
it
doesn't
this?
have
Is
text
it
and video.
is it decision tree, or is it really AI? Is it measuring
Right,
sediment of conversation to be able to
right,
see if somebody's upset with what's already being said, or is this really taking it to a point
right,
where they're understanding and really processing based upon exclamation points, based
right.
upon emojis, even? Because think about AI. AI can really expand so many different elements to it. I mean,
Yeah.
AI is, Bobbie, to what you were saying, the education right now,
Mhm.
and Jim, we were talking about it before we started, the education is where we're at to this point. What
Well,
can
we're
you use
educating
AI
AI.
for?
We're educating AI right now, and it should have a different name, right? So I almost feel like in our industry, at least at the very least, we need to come up with something different to say when we're talking about AI that has can develop, sentient, not in human sentient, but in, is this a positive message, a negative one? Is it a chatbot responding versus AI that can create a video that never existed that you can't even tell? I mean, look at this week, I believe it was this week, a video and a photo circulated of the Pope being dead. It wasn't real, but even the news stations couldn't decipher if it was real or not. So history is being created. And imagine if you can fool an entire nation into thinking the Pope is dead. How easy is it going to be for a vendor to
Oh
tell you
my
they have
God! If
AI
we if we're
and
having a
it's three
debate
ninety
on
nine a
whether the
month?
Pope is real, oh my gosh!
It's that's what I mean though. This is a really serious thing, and I think we're going to have a lot of people coming out of the woodwork that developed something in 20 minutes on a Chat GPT 5 as that even comes out, and go, hey, I have this great new product, and really they didn't develop it nor do they know how it works. So we're trying to vet through these things. And Jarrod, your Connect AI was one of the first companies prior to even Chat GPT coming out that really kind of focused on that kind of integration. Am I correct?
Correct. So we've been looking at this for a long time with with my background, coming out of automotive. Like, what do we really need it to do, and
Right.
and how do we need it to behave, and what are we looking for it to accomplish? I guess the end of the day is, what's the goal? So like with Konect, our goal is to help dealers provide a lift in terms of engagement of opportunities. But that's the defense approach. Everybody out there in the marketplace that has, as you said, a branded AI company is playing, just taking the leads in, sending an email, sending a couple messages, trying to get them into the door without really answering their questions. Where we take it a little bit different, as you know, Bobbie, as we've talked about, is we answer the question. So what's the charge time on this 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV? How long does it take for the batteries to charge? If you can produce an answer to that question that is accurate, you're providing a level of service that it's hard for even some BDC reps to be able to hold a candle to. So if you can get it to that point, asking questions about, you know, and I have example, somebody asked, oh, can I fit a portable ping pong table in the back seat of this 2014 Audi A5? It's a great question. How do you respond to that question with an AI? Hey, I don't know. I'm going to find out for you. No, we take the data, the cubic square foot. Hey, here's the cubic square foot. You got to do a little math calculation to see if your portable ping pong table will fit. But that's defense, Bobbie, that I'm the most excited about. And I think we as an industry need to evolve to is the offensive approach and strategy to this. So you think about what happened these past 18 months. We had such an influx of demand from consumers. We have so many customers sitting in CRMs today that are attached to a vehicle that no longer is in stock.
I've been talking about that for years, Jarrod. How many, you've heard me speaking at Battle Plan about how many dead leads are in your CRM, hundreds of thousands in some cases.
Yeah, so we have this now. So why can we not use this from offense here, Jim, to let the guests know through automation to reach out to them, attach the AI back. So, hey, I know, Bobbie, you were looking at this, 2021 Ford F-150, but unfortunately that vehicle has sold. But good news, Bobbie, I have other ones that came in stock. What was you looking for specific to this? Are you only looking for a Lariat trim level? Does it have to be four-wheel drive? I'm starting to pull questions out, and then with an integration.
Now, wait a minute, the AI is asking these questions.
We can have it ask those questions, absolutely.
Well, and we can. I know this is not going to be the popular thing, right? For the audience, Jarrod and I are friends. I'm not advocating his product yet. I'm not closed yet, so I'm going to ask him some tough questions too, which is like most CRMs can already do that, and that's that first level of AI. Can they go to the next level? If the customer responds, does a human not need to get involved? Well, with one CRM, at least with Drive, you can, and Drive uses an AI integration. I'm also not advocating that. What I am saying is that next level part of it, the ping pong table is a great example because these are questions that in a BDC or with the sales team, they get stuck on, short of going out and, measuring and bringing in a ping pong table. These are actually helpful assists to the sales team where they need that assister to the BDC. And my concern is, where does that line get blurry where you don't need the sales team and the BDC anymore?
You're always going to need them.
It's going to put people out of work, Jarrod.
Well, you know what? Some of the best products do, and it is going to put people out of work. It already has, but that's not even my main concern in it. My main concern in it is I don't want people out there going, this replaces your whole team, when that's not a thing yet. People are being lied to right now about what it is, and I do like the premise of the product. That is a cool assist that it has, something simple that really works.
It's that assist to get to the next level, 100%. Because you and I and the three of us, we all know if I can answer 2 or 3 questions instantaneously, even if it's 2 a.m, and I can get somebody engaging with this and answer 2 or 3 questions that maybe they could not get, and we as a BDC just try and get them in the door. But if we can answer these and get them to that next level, we all know the propensity for that guest to show up in the store skyrockets. Because
100%.
At the end of the day, the experience is better than what anybody else is doing. Even though it may not be 100% perfect, it's still so much better than what we already have from an experience side of things.
Just like a response? Is that what you mean? Yeah, that's what you mean. Just in general, a response.
So, Bobbie, I'm going to pull it back 5 years, and you and I, when all of us, we know about this, and we've all done it. We've all been at stores. We all know that stores do this. But how many times have you gone in and looked at all of your lead audits for stores that you work with?
Yeah.
And
millions.
Half or 75% of the time, the question in the initial lead is not being answered to in the first contact.
Well, it's a twofold thing, and I wonder how some of this will get solved. Not wonder, I know it's capable, but it's in that a lot of the time there's not even a question. The button that's clicked or the last action taken, that's the question. So the ability to read that is really stunted in a lot of BDCs and on sales teams. Do you read the lead, right? Where an AI option would read and could possibly even give back the messaging to the human that needs to interact with that person in a much stronger and more efficient way. And that is what I think is exciting.
And Bobbie, that's what we do. So
Yeah.
you mentioned twofold. One, we ingest the comments. We can look at these comments and we can actually customize that to specific dealer. So
Right.
think of pricing, or do you deliver? Like, do you do offsite delivery? We can queue up a canned response for your specific store based upon that question being asked. But think about where this evolves to on the next front. Think of digital retail, as you mentioned, that last event step sequence. So
Yeah.
you left off at trade appraisal. I know I need to talk to you about how easy it is to trade your vehicle in here with the store. And if I can instantaneously provide that response right out of the gate on the first initial text message that is sent, imagine the propensity of guests to go to that next step of credit application, because you just said it was so easy. I'm going to go ahead and go back to that step and then go back in.
Right.
And we're already seeing the lift.
How much of this is text and how much in the industry right now is voice?
Ooh.
Well, sky's the limit on that one, Jim. To be honest, you have what we have right now is we have the old AI and the new AI that over the last 3 months has developed in such an insane. I think the metric I heard this morning.
I know the answer to the question. I just want to hear you guys answer.
I think the information that I read this morning was that between the time that ChatGPT 3, I had a dentist appointment this morning, so I'm tongue-tied, and 4 came out in that short window of time, it was over 600% on an increase of intelligence of software. So right now we have a lot of options for products that are in the middle of builds that are trying to get ahead. Think what Google just tried to do with Microsoft, where they released Bard over the other product, but then there was mistakes with it. And that's a big concern. There are a ton out there right now that are offering voice, imaging, video, text, service-based, sales-based. I mean, pretty much sky's the limit on what you have, and it seems legit. But not all of that technology that's available right now is actually ready. It's developing with what's occurring currently. So it's a hard answer to give.
The first time I became aware of AI, artificial intelligence, was a movie with Haley Joel Osment. You know?
Wait, was this like one of those in 25 years in the future? We might see. Yeah. I mean, everybody has an Alexa, right? Or a smartphone, has a Siri. That's AI. It's as simple as that. I tried to talk to the IRS the other day. That was fun. I actually thought I was talking to a real person on the chat, and I was getting impressed with myself because I was like, oh, I can tell the difference. No, I absolutely wasn't. And I couldn't tell. And that part will be concerning for dealers too. Because think about, if you're a dealer watching right now, how do you know that the demo you just did is with a Jarrod, or is it with a system from AI? Did you get scheduled and demoed through a product? Imagine what that looks like for like NADA in the future.
Just think about NADA, Bobbie, in terms of, everybody has their, come visit us at the booth. We're giving away this, register ahead of time for a spot.
Right.
And now next thing you know, you're getting messages and emails from this company. Oh, hey, by the way, our company representative speaking at this time. By the way, our company's having a party at this time, and you're getting all these notifications at NADA. You're like, how do I keep up with this? Like, what do I do? It's overwhelming.
It is. I love that somebody just on Facebook, but we can't see the user's name, said, my issue with AI is being described as that it sounds like it'll eliminate positions like BDC and internet teams. Here's the one thing I will tell you. Could that happen? Sure. And we're not 10 years from that, guys. It went 600% on an increase in technology in weeks. We're a year away from that being a thing. But here's the part where you don't get scared. There's a lot of dealers out there who just figured out the internet's not going away. I think you're probably going to be fine, right? I mean, that's just the truth. It's scary. I'm more concerned about the budgets that are going to be increased falsely for products that do the same thing and or are not as they're described. And Jarrod, how are you guys, like as a team, going to prevent that with your dealers? Do you already have proactive steps in place to help a dealer that you're truly partnering with? Jim hates that word, partnering with, to say, here's the variable between us and them, since you guys are ahead of the game.
Well, it really comes down to a couple of things, Bobbie. And as you said, I love that comment also with, being replaced for BDC and internet, because it's not. And to your point, I think it's going to be some time before any of that really happens. They've been talking about replacing finance managers with digital retail tools for the past 5 years. It hasn't happened. We still have finance managers at the stores because it hasn't gotten to a point where it's that simple. And to be able to address the guest questions, well, I have a credit union at this, but I can do this. It has to be simpler.
It's true. I mean, this is one of those big things that comes with AI, is everybody thinks that they're an expert in it because everybody can go to play with the tool and think that they have it. I mean, the productivity level of increase is great. What I'm really hoping for is to start to see some of these products, like you had mentioned about yours, come in on the assist and do things like, like I love an app called Motion. It's an AI app, and it takes all the tasks for my day and it finds the 5-minute windows and 10-minute windows between times to fill in for me. I would like to see the tool used in a way where we can maximize efficiency in a day. It can be calendared and scheduled in those ways for our teams.
So what we do and what we have found to be extremely beneficial is because of that education piece, not only to the industry, but the store itself through this transition. So we do notifications via text and our mobile app we have a mobile app, because that's the cool thing in automotive to do.
Right.
But it gives the sales team the ability to simply go in there and get notified if a guest that is assigned to them in the CRM. So CRM integration, that's a whole different window. That's a whole different day of.
That's what I'm working on behind the scenes.
That's a whole different conversation. Yeah. But they get notified if a guest is engaging with the AI. They're getting notified if a guest has set an appointment with the AI. They can get a guest, all these notifications, so they could literally jump into the conversation.
So the AI monitor the AI TOs to a live human being.
It doesn't have to. It's more of a notification, and they can say, okay, hey, this guest is asking something really deep in the weeds on finance. I need to step in. So myself as a salesperson from my mobile app or desktop or the link in the CRM note field,
in retail we call that a TO, Jarrod.
Yeah, Jarrod, are you that far removed? What's going on here?
I know it's not an AI buzzword, so I guess I forgot about it. Sorry.
Yeah. That's an AI TO.
Isn't that the thing about the buzzwords, though? It's not, AI is not a buzzword. It's really real life, but we say that when things are buzzwords. It's here now. It's real.
Exactly. And it's Jim, going back, you're saying voice and text and email. I mean, that's a broad spectrum, because if you go to an NADA or any of these conferences, you get pitched on an AI product, but most people don't know, hey, this company only is doing voice, this company is doing only email, this company is doing text, and this company does this. It's like, oh my goodness, which one do I need? And it comes down to, what is the problems, 2 or 3 problems you're trying to use this to solve? Is it lead follow-up? Is it getting somebody to help make sure we're answering the phone and not missing phone opportunity? Is it to reach out to all of our database? Is it to assist with our KBB ICO opportunities, because we have 4,000 of them coming a month and it's overwhelming my BDC staff? This can assist them in this. What is the use case? And that's, Bobbie, what we and myself and our team have really been doing, is this education. When we're talking to dealers, it's like, oh, well, yeah, we're looking for this to sit here and help out our service BDC because they can't keep up with the phone calls. And we will literally tell them right there, hey, we're not the solution you're looking for. Here's a couple of solutions that are on the space to really look into. But here's how we could assist with other components, whether it's a marketing element, a vehicle acquisition strategy, service to sales, etc. Here's some of the sequences that we can be utilized for to assist your store if and when you're ready at that point.
Right. I want to touch base on what Kenneth's comment was real quick, and I'm interested to hear your perspective too, Jarrod. So what he said basically is AI systems cannot replicate the level of uniqueness and personality and relatability that a good salesperson can. And I challenge you to this, that is not true. And so if you believe that, and I have all the respect in the world for Kenneth, but if you believe that, I challenge you immediately. You need to get real familiar with what's going on right now. And that's not some conspiracy thing. This is real life. And that Chat GPT, do you know how it works? Here's how it works. The entire country is currently teaching it information and how to answer questions using their unique personality, relatability, and all the things that they're good at, and where AI can do better than we can do in these situations, and where it shouldn't be feared, is that that's why it works so well. It's not there's not one person inside of a computer saying this would be the answer. The way that we do when we do training or when we go into a CRM and we cleanse it and we say this is the answer to it. Instead, you have millions, billions is a stretch, millions of people out there going, this is the question. Oh, here's how I'd answer it. Nope, chat, that's wrong. Try it this way instead. And it's pooling all of that information to be able to do these things. You need to know that, not to fear it, but so that you understand how some of these products that you're going to be integrating with right now and very soon work. I would say a lot of vendors should be scared, because if you don't have AI in your product, you're probably not going to be at NADA next year.
Are we just answering leads? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Everything.
Anything and everything.
Everything. Creating videos.
So I'd like to hear some more specific applications other than the lead management.
So okay, Jarrod, tell us a little bit about yours.
I would say, Bobbie, so lead management is going back. That's the defense strategy. It's the offense.
Yeah.
The offense. It's Jim. It's your vehicle acquisition. So we look at this from KBB ICO or an AccuTrade component. We know that's a large volume of inbound opportunities. Couple things with them, and I had it in store with Jermaine, and I can tell you firsthand, it takes the wind out of the sails for that BDC team, because it is such a hard work to get somebody to engage. And then at that point, they get, oh, well, that's way too low for my trade. What do? Bad lead, move on, because I have 4,000 other ones to go worry about. It's not a conversation. We need to get more engagement with it. We have the integrations with them so that we can facilitate this, and we have stores doing two different approaches.
So AI is outbound as well as inbound.
Absolutely.
100%.
So keep in mind, Jim, and for everybody listening, so I know we always talk about me in BDC, and that's great. I'm also an operations consultant. So I'm going to tell you from an operations standpoint, top down, how this has been being used for years and how it's already being used now. Not the hopeful, not tomorrow, today. Okay. I can take a GM's, for example, schedule, and I can rework it using an AI system where no humans are involved so that they can accomplish 3 times the amount that they would in one day. I can go into all of the finances for a dealership and put it into a system and tell you exactly where you're spending double on, more than, and what the negotiable levels are based on your group size, your market size, and what the rep wore on Wednesday. That's how clear it can get, right? Inside of the system, talking to customers from a customer perspective. Acquisition, huge. What can AI do in acquisition right now? You don't even have to send me a lead. You don't have to send me a lead. I can currently already take tools there. I go, I'm going to geofence the football game, and I'm going to hit anybody who's a nurse or a doctor, because my OEM that I sell has a program for that, a rebate for that. Then I'm going to cross-reference over and have my AI system input it into the CRM. When the number my BDC calls doesn't work, I'm going to put something on your website that's going to tell me that this customer used this number on Amazon last week, who they probably didn't lie to, and I'm going to update it in your CRM. I'm also going to cross-reference the state records to find out from the DMS who owns that car still. And then I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to check out your lifestyle and know that you're looking at a new house. You've been shopping actively for houses based on your shopping history. And now all of the ads that I start serving you up from my dealership to acquire that vehicle, which, by the way, I know what you're looking for it, because I geofenced my competitors to know if you walked on their lot and already got a number. I'm going to use all of that stuff, and then I'm going to have AI create a video for you that is in front of a house with a sold sign and a happy family that looks like yours. So I just created a lifestyle the way a commercial would. And I'm not going to have my team get involved until you actually engage. So I'm not trying to make anybody lazy. I'm not trying to do anything. What I'm doing is maximizing that time. That's 3 years ago, guys. That's 3 years ago. That's yesterday.
Jarrod, a friend of mine, Ken Eason, who's the general manager trainer at Parkway dealerships in Valencia, California. I've consulted those people for 30 years. Good friends of mine. He says,
but what if it didn't? What if
But
it gave them the
is
time to
it
be in
that?
front of people?
But going back to that, as I know Stephen just mentioned too, it's extremely important. It gives them the right time to become involved with conversations,
Yeah.
with the right intent, with the right data, to be able to provide that level of experience, but also be more efficient in their day-to-day operation. So they're not sitting in front of a computer, cold calling the last 50 people that they had just to try and get them in the
Right.
door.
Or pretending to.
Now, exactly. Or pretending to call them. And they're sitting there playing Roblox or whatnot on their phones and doing who knows
Yeah.
what. But if I can sit there and say, hey, your phone is going to ring at this day, this time, this customer wants to talk to you about this specifically. All you have to do is pick up your phone, press 1, and it's going to connect you to the guest. How that's where my confusion is. I don't understand how that makes them lazy. That just makes them more productive. And at the end of the day,
Okay, so productivity is the goal of AI.
That's not AI's goal, but it's ours.
It's the goal of AI's application to automotive, in my opinion, is to enhance it before it gets even further next. It's the enhancement right now of the productivity, putting the salesperson and the customer together, the right time, the right place. But then going back to what Bobbie's saying, that is teaching so many other things down the road.
Yeah.
So that it's going to be able to be more beneficial when it comes to service, when it comes to parts, when it comes to operations. This is data that we are consuming from an AI perspective that is going to better utilize time for the sales team and management team, as eventually service and parts, and eventually the entire operation. Because what if I could tell you, hey, you don't need to open your service apartment, at 6 a.m, but you would actually increase your service business if you opened at 10 and stayed open till 6 instead of closing at 5.
Well, you already can tell me that, right?
We'll be able to tell that with current data out of DMS, but then also with scheduling data, utilizing the AI component of the time requesting from the consumer, and we can start providing decision-making behaviors to increase not only productivity, Jim, but also profitability.
So like, for example, Stephen just had a great point, right? And there's these technical things people want to feel like they're talking to a human. So bad news bears here, they already do, because AI is so strong right now that it does feel like you're talking to a human. But again, I can't stress this enough. If it's my dealership, right now when I train, I use 8 different products from AI. I'm just waiting for the one to come out. But here's the deal. AI can actually take all the data in your CRM and all that information we just talked about, and it can tell you that John on your floor should only be working with men and women between this age and this age who are grandparents and who have this. And maybe Amy on your floor should only be working with this one or this one. And it takes all that data and it analyzes it. Imagine how powerful your team would be if you knew exactly who should handle what approach with what customer. And if you got out of the way to get the scheduling done, similar to what we've tried to do with BDCs, and let your salespeople be salespeople. Because I have a big thing with this whole salespeople are, lazy or they don't want to do this. In my experience, most salespeople don't want to give up money. Most salespeople and BDC alike either don't know how or don't know why they need to do something, or they don't believe it, and then they don't. We could argue semantics of that, but the truth is the best salespeople are the people who are in front of someone and can close them. Let's get more of those people in front of them, right? Isn't that the whole plan?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, Bobbie, that's the piece to it. The exciting thing, we actually just learned something. I was visiting a store a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about this. We've had a lot of new people enter the automotive space from a salesperson level due to really high demand, low inventory, and they're so used to selling vehicles by simply taking orders.
Yeah.
And now it's, as we all know, it's evolving and changing. We have to go back to selling now and actually providing a road to the sale, providing a feature value benefit component to it. What we're finding is the questions that the sales team are seeing our AI ask are now training the sales team that never had training before
on what to do.
Ask the levels of questions. And I was talking to 4 or 5 of them. They're like, I never had any training, and now I'm getting such a better response by simply asking similar questions to what you ask when it comes into the system.
Yeah.
So we talk about training the AI, but the AI is also training our teams.
Yeah, it's back and forth
at the same time.
Well, because it's taking data from all those people.
My friend Ken Eason asked a very important question that you would like to answer.
He has the
Jarrod.
best question.
How much is this going to cost?
Konect AI, we'll work with you, Ken. Jim's got a special for you. I'll reach out.
That is a true vendor answer right there.
Jarrod, this is what he said.
Ken, I love your questions. I
do too.
I love that we can get to like challenge them so that other people can understand what you already have going on up there.
So, I mean, AI systems you run anywhere and now in today's space, like with us, as well as some of the other systems, depending, voice systems as well, you're going to find them anywhere between the $1,500 mark all the way up to the $3,500 mark, depending upon the need, the package, and integration fees, etc. So it depends upon what the need is. And then it comes down to, it's really, in my opinion, it's not the cost of the product, it's the implementation. It's the training, it's the training, it's the internal process. It's making sure your team has somebody who understands AI, who's been in the business, who knows what dealers need, and has a network of dealers using AI that can share with you different applications of how to use things as well. So here's an idea from a store in Tennessee that's using it for this, and here's results. I know you're not in Tennessee, you may be in California. Here's an idea, though. Here's their results, and we could spin up an idea together. It's all about working together of what works and what doesn't work, and trial and error behind it. And that's the way we're going to continue to evolve the guest experience at the store.
Keeping in mind, too, guys, that when Jarrod's talking about that pricing structure, you're not talking about a simple piece of AI that is creating a piece of content. Like, for example, Canva, which a lot of dealers use because the OEM had advocated for it a long time ago to make social media and design easier. This week released, I think March 23rd, released their new generative tool. If you haven't had a chance to play with this yet, the trial period will cover it. And if not, it's like $10 a month. But I can put in and say, show me a blue elephant sitting on top of a 2021 Hyundai. And guess what happens in about 30 seconds? The coolest blue elephant you've ever seen is sitting on top of a Hyundai, and boom, you have content. That's like a $10 to a $30 thing a month. Here's the difference between a program like that and what Jarrod is talking about is that is encompassing data. It's reading it, it's evaluating it, it's reacting to it. That is a different level. And I can tell you as someone who owns my company and is not trying to sell you any kind of AI, that I've been using AI for years. I use 12 tools right now on a daily basis for my clients. They could do on their own, but they don't know how to make the 12 tools go together. Eventually that will be one product, and it'll be in that type of price range. So you're eliminating a lot of the nonsense when you're updating your policies and your procedures and your processes to fit this kind of technology.
Sometimes AI is so realistic, you believe you're speaking to a person. I've caught myself cursing out that little guy from India trying to call me about my car's warranty.
You are.
I'm screaming and get off my phone.
But so the one thing, and I talk about this when you look at AIs, and I've done it and I've studied it, is look at how the response is. Does the response, if you go to like a website chat thing, you send a message, it's immediately back. You get a response back immediately. If you're testing AI and you're getting immediate response, does that feel real? If you're looking at it and your guest is on your mobile phone, they're sitting there on their phone texting, and on their phone, they send a message and they get immediate response. We all know it's not real at that point. Having a little time delay, even something simple, if a native conversational component of spelling you rather than YOU and just the letter
make
U
some
in a
mistakes.
text message, that is such a natural feeling. The guest on the other end of the phone who's talking to this can't disseminate the difference. But then you have to look at the medium source that the guest is consuming this experience. Is it a cell phone? Is it an email? Is it a phone call? Because each one of those has a different native approach and different native feel. Text is going to be completely different than a phone call. So you're looking at text. If I send emoji, what happens? If I send a GIF, what happens? Like that, it's got to be able to handle those and respond. It's got to be native.
It's going to be hard too, because you see a lot of the times when I'm going out and teaching teams how to communicate with customers, I have a lot of my executive dealer principals and GMs go, it needs to be professional. No, it doesn't. It needs to mirror. Mirroring, which we used to teach happened in person, now happens in our digital world. If I'm talking to somebody who is not using complete sentences and instead is using anagrams or is using a U or is using an emoji, you need to communicate back and forth in that same way. And so really good AI knows that. Or if I'm sending an overnight responder, why would it go out immediately? Nobody typed that email that fast. Give it an 8-minute delay, right? These are things that we're using. Or you look at Netflix, for example. For a lot of people think this is so new, and it's so funny to me. Netflix's algorithm, Amazon's algorithm, is an AI tool. Think about how long that's been around. But Blockbuster didn't see Redbox coming, and Redbox didn't see Netflix coming. And look, only Netflix now. This is what's going to happen with competitors. So it's time to start to learn it. I'm not even saying jump on board. Every tool you use in your dealership has almost every tool has some level of AI already in it, but it's time to start learning it. And it couldn't be easier. Go to YouTube and just put AI for beginners and make sure you make the search be the filter within the last week. Not 2 weeks ago is too long ago, within the last week, and watch a quick video and learn the things that you're buying and how they actually can integrate into your store and help you be more efficient so you can sell more cars. That's the whole point.
No, and Bobbie, you nailed it with that again, of course. It's changing. It is changing faster than anybody could ever anticipate. Daily. It's so much data is being run through it. We've trained all our conversational models based upon our data and data with GPT-3, GPT-4, GPT-22 is going to be here before we know it. It's constant training of the conversations based upon results and what's the expected outcome to be. So if they ask, oh, how long does it take to charge this used Tesla?
Right.
We have to be able to respond to that in a way that's either, hey, great question, let me find out, we'll be in touch with you, or I can give you a call with that information, or let's produce that content information and let's produce it out there. No, either way is not a bad way. But if you think about what we do in current state, hey, I'll find out. I'm gonna go out there, as you said, with a measuring tape to try and measure for it. But I mean, how cool would it be to a point, Bobbie, to rig it AI to a point where a guest asks, hey, can you send me a close-up picture of the wheels on that car? And then we can do with AI photo imaging components through an AI company, conversational AI, take that photo of that, zoom in, make sure it's not pixelated, make sure it's a 4K clean image, and instantaneously produce that image back to them via a text message at 4 a.m. when the guest has sit there and engaged with us. Like, that's the evolution. That's where this kind of component is going to get and go. And it's not just asking an appointment for a phone call or an in-store. Why not a video call? Why not a FaceTime call? Why not a Zoom call? We need to explore where guests want to interact.
How they want to do it, right?
We have to be okay as an industry with forgetting just get them in the door. Because if we are still reading that model, just get them in, we're going to find ourselves way farther behind than ever before with the evolution of AI.
Jim, did you know that right now, and it's a non-automotive product, I'm not going to give away too many of these ideas because I'm working on my own stuff in the background, but did you know that right now, outside of automotive, I can reach out to an industry, we won't say which one, let's say it's helicopters. That's not real, but it is. Let's say I want to look at a helicopter and I'm only available at 4 a.m. And I've talked to a couple people a couple times for a couple minutes, and the AI system in their CRM has recorded the kinds of things I say and how to get my attention, right? And I'm best served to get a hold of at about 3 o'clock in the morning. That's just the truth. So if you call me at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm probably going to answer. But if you call me at 2 p.m., I'm not. So now somebody needs to call me at 3 o'clock in the morning, but it can't be AI. And maybe we don't want an employee to do that. Do you know that I can already receive a video call that feels like a real human to me, that will auto dial me at 3 o'clock in the morning and will have a whole video conversation with me. And I will never even know that it is a video. It actually can already look like you. It can look and sound exactly like you, and I won't be able to tell that it's not you. And this is not old technology, or not new technology. It's old. Anybody can Google it. Look at The Voice. If anybody remembers that show, The Voice, the music show, these brilliant kids went on there, and instead of auditioning for The Voice, they did an audition and turned Simon Cowell, I think it was The Voice, into a video on stage a year and a half ago. They Shark Tanked it. That exists right now for $29.99
There is
a
a
month.
trend in colleges right now and called Buellering. Remember the movie Ferris Bueller?
Yeah.
And I was Buellered with the class I teach at Northwood just recently, where one of the students in the room was sitting there doing all this, and I thought it was a real person in my class. He was sleeping in.
Yeah, this is a real thing already. So, and he
Yeah.
could have, that video could actually have an intelligent conversation with you right now. You could ask it anything you want, and I can assure you a human isn't going to answer it better. This already exists outside of our industry, and it got so much more powerful in the last couple of months. And that is because, not because the technology wasn't there, it's because it was released to the public and everybody's playing with it and teaching it. Anybody can go on and design a tool now. It's going to be really difficult to cut through what's real and what's not with some of your vendors and some of the things you're being sold on if it's real or not, especially if you don't understand how it works. Like I see Keith's thing up here. I mean, I love Keith to pieces, but Keith, it's actually way more intelligent to use data and then to have a system process it and have it output it than it is a lot of the people on those teams using it. If I wouldn't hire a vendor right now that didn't have some level of AI incorporated into their tool, and it better be advanced or you're off the roster.
And it's going to continue to be that way, Bobbie. I mean, to the voice piece, like, Jim, we could be doing this at 3 a.m. All of us, as we sit right now, doing this live, and nobody would be able to know the difference. And to that point, we could use your voice for all 3 of us. So it sounds like you're talking to yourself with our faces on it and having a full conversation. I mean, that technology is there, and it's super slick and cool behind it. I mean, there's so many applications, for that. Think about an introductory call with a GM after sale that you could automate after sale because of an integration with a CRM. You pick it up and you can request a video call with the GM to get feedback on the experience. And they think they're doing a video call with the GM at the store, but it is pure AI. It is the GM's voice, even, because we can do voice detection. We don't even have this yet. The technology
where is
Konekt there.
AI going with all that?
To the moon.
It's growing every day. I mean, we're growing every day in terms of growth, in terms of dealer count, in terms of integrations. I've talked with an OEM recently about the ability to create the on-order component for all the issues every consumer's having with ordering a vehicle and not knowing what the status is, nor the dealer knowing where it is. Hey, I could build you a Domino's pizza tractor through your integrations to be able to produce that for you automatically. And it sounds goofy, but you use that plus integrations to CRM, plus the ability to communicate with the consumer. You're just built the full cycle of all of the problems within some of these OEMs. I mean, but that's one application. There's so many different pieces to it. So, Jim, it really comes down to working with, and I know you're going to hate this, great dealer partners for us. Because great dealer partners for us are the ones that are giving us these crazy ideas and say, hey, could you do this? I'm like, hey, that's really cool. Let me go back to my team. Let us go rip the cover off this, and let's see if this is something that's attainable. What's a scope? What's a dev time look like? And what's the market adoption for some of those components to market? So it is really that relationship, more or less, with those dealers that are pushing us to make us better. And that's what we thrive off of, and that's what we live off of.
I'm not going to suck into that because I don't think any vendor.
He doesn't. We fight with him about this all the time, guys.
Cannot be your partner.
The relationship, Jim, has to be there to help everybody grow and evolve, because this is so new and we have to do so much education.
Well, and you're going to have to, from a dealer perspective, I would tell you this. One, next year, you better already have in place. So starting this year, every contract from every vendor that you signed needs to go to a whole new attorney, and not the 86-year-old one that you've been using, one that understands AI, because your data being stolen before is nothing like it's happening right now, and nothing like it will be. And what you're signing up for in some of these things, when it used to be, and present company excluded, I'm not saying this at all, but I'm saying in an overall, used to be that joining a dealer advisory board. I know you all think it's fun when you get to go to like Cancun and stuff. That's because you're influencing their product and they want you to run your mouth at your 20 groups. So if you didn't know that, now you know. But like, go to Cancun, it's fine. But here's the deal. They're not going to need that from you anymore. And you won't be able to decide what not to give because everything has access and everything is using those same things we just told you about with your customers. Look at your contracts. If you have a company that you're working with, even a CRM, that does not already have true AI incorporated in it, and I do not mean that they have a product called AI. And if you're not sure, call me and I'll tell you the truth. At 3 a.m., call me. If you are using a product that doesn't have that, you are wasting your money effective months ago. Get rid of it and get a new one. Be prepared as you're going to these conferences and you're looking at products to only decide on products that are ahead of your competitor, not behind. Just because you don't understand something doesn't make it not real, right?
And there's Bobbie, to that point, there is a lot of misconception out there in the space today of what can be done,
Yeah.
And who has what and this and whatnot behind it. At the end of the day is look at all of them. Look at everything out there. I mean, if you're looking for an AI product, I tell everybody, look at everybody.
Yeah.
Find out who's going to be the best fit for what end goal your goal is to accomplish.
Yep.
Define your goals, define your mission, rewind the tape to January 1st, knowing what you know from Q1. Say, if I knew these 3 things in this first quarter, I would have been more productive. Those are the 3 things to go after and find a solution to help you solve and build upon that as your strategy. Doing that is going to jumpstart your momentum. Don't just buy the shiny tool because it looks cool. Buy it with intent, buy it with purpose, and have a plan to grow it, not just set it, forget it, grow it and evolve this over the next 2 to 3 years because it's going to help you grow.
Yeah, it's so important. Like, I really can't stress that enough, that whatever your position is in your dealership, if you're a GM, if you're a BDC person, if you're this, you can choose to fear new technology and be afraid of it and not understand it, or you can choose to embrace it. You're not going to get a choice on if it exists or not. So it's time to really learn how it works. And I would not work with, I don't care if the OEM tells you to or not, or if you've been using, your CRM for 76 years and it's just the only one. If it doesn't have the ability to already be granular in your process and your procedure based on how a customer came in, already be able to have the phone calls that come into your dealership and their transcripts record right in, already be able to send out content from it. And you're like, well, but they're going to get that next year. Like, we're way past that, guys. Your competitors are going to compete. And it's the people that are coming out of NADA school right now that are in dealerships, and this Gen Z generation that is really embraced it. They're out there becoming millionaires overnight right now by building AI tools and selling them to industries. This is actually happening. I'm not just throwing that out there. Google is your friend. Look it up. And those people are the ones that everybody's like, well, they don't have 40 years of experience in the dealership. What could they possibly know? Your competitor is going to know that they don't need to anymore in order to make some executive decisions that will actually help you. And I fear for some of the dealers for that.
Now, Bobbie, you're saying a CRM should incorporate AI.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say a CRM should not only incorporate AI, but it should be built from the ground up and not a Band-Aid they plugged into.
Yeah, it's got to be, AI already has to be incorporated, but more importantly, it has to have the ability to actually, on a quick basis, react with AI. I'll throw out, Drive. I don't typically back things publicly, but Drive CRM has some really good AI in it. Do I know if their AI today is progressive as it was yesterday? No, but I know that that's always been their focus. There's some ability there for them to be able to react quicker and to be able to put things out faster where the other CRMs don't have that. Vin has an AI system that goes in and tells you, hey, which vehicle are they looking at and how likely are they to trade it in? Are they a lifestyle customer? Are they this? But that's not even new AI. So it's so important that you be cautious of the tools that you're bringing in. And in my experience as a dealer and working with dealers, most of the time when we bring in a new product, onboarding is a problem because we don't really understand it. So we're like, oh, okay, we'll just onboard it and let the vendor handle that. Don't do that anymore, because you have to understand the tools that are in there, or you're not going to be able to tell what the competitor is doing to take your business.
No, agree 100%, Bobbie. It is the need to deep dive it further and further in terms of that integration step. And the ongoing support and the ongoing strategy sessions behind it. I mean, that's something that I don't know if you get with all of the CRM AIs out there, because I think it's almost a specialty component of the CRMs. But then again, we're having a performance manager or
Right.
somebody trying to talk to a dealer about AI because it's part of the CRM and I manage that account, so I have to do it.
Right.
Is that the best person for your store to be telling you what to do or not to do within the AI? I don't think it is, in my opinion. You need to get somebody who's really AI focused to give a different level of visibility, rather than, hey, build this process, build this template, make sure you close showroom visits. You want that same person telling you how to build and use AI? I don't think so. I think that has to be a separate entity for the education and strategy for a dealer to have both a system that is fully incorporated into a CRM.
If you have an operations director or a digital director, marketing director in your store right now, and they are not an AI expert, game over. They either need to become one or you need a new one. And for those, that'll piss a couple of people off. It's true. And if you're one of those people and you're in disagreement with me, shame on you. You will never be able to hold the vendors accountable or be divisive in the outcome of what you're doing if this isn't on the forefront of your mind.
Well, there's a website on the screen right now, and on that website is a button that says book a demo.
Yeah.
And I would, if I'm a decision maker, rather, before I listen to my own people, I'm gonna book a demo, not just with Konect. I'm gonna book a demo with several entities, and I'm gonna look at things, because most dealer principals are somewhere around where I'm at. I don't understand this space, but I'll learn it.
Yeah, and you'll surround yourself with people who will be able to answer the questions, right?
I've always said, when I spoke at Digital Dealer a year ago, I said, cover your weaknesses. As a top manager in a dealership, I knew there were things I don't know, and I always covered my weaknesses with people that did know. And I went right to the source, but I always had people that did know. I consulted my 20 group of people that were using the vendors, and I took the top 10 references the vendor gave me. Then I asked for another 10 that they didn't give me.
Yeah, I personally have decided this because I have so many of my clients that I work with come to me for the marketing matchmaking product, which is to make sure that the product that you're looking at does what they say it's going to do. It's the cost it's supposed to be. It's incorporated correctly, and they're working for you, right? That's a huge bulk of what I do right now. I personally have decided that in 2023, if you are an AI product without a dealer advisory board and I'm not on it, I'm not advocating your product, period. Because of that, I had to decide that the middle 2 weeks of April, I canceled all of my business the middle 2 weeks of April, and I'm doing full demos with every product to the tune of completely understanding what it is. And I want to see a demo of every single product every single month for the next 12 months, because even a month is too long to see what the changes are. Or my advice to my clients is going to be, if they're not willing to have a tough conversation with me because they want to have a conversation with you, we're moving them out.
You know, Bobbie, Bobbie, during the pandemic, when all of a sudden digital retail became the buzzword, I had demos with 10 digital retail vendors.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm telling the general managers, pay attention. Pay attention. Listen, dealers, cover your weaknesses. Do the demos. Go to the websites. Book the demos. Jarrod?
Yeah, Bobbie, you just hit on something really important. You're talking about dealer advisory board. That is a big piece, but the transparency as well.
Yeah.
Find out what's on their roadmap. Have them produce the roadmap to you. What is, okay, here's where you're at now, but okay, what's cooking in the back here? What is it that's coming? And how, and here's a big one. And, I'm not going to say I'm perfect at it by any means. We're still learning and we're still growing. How are you communicating updates to the system to me as a dealer? How do I know what's going on? It's something I've written down. It's something myself and our team are getting better at, both internal and external, but it's happening so fast. But those are questions that you have to ask. is what's the roadmap? What's the next 90 days look like? What's the next 6-month year roadmap? And then how are you going to communicate this to me, and how I'm going to understand what that's going to do for me to adjust and my strategy as need be.
Yeah, like a lot of the audience might not know, or they might from knowing us around and stuff, that neither Jarrod or myself, and look, we don't work together. We're friends for years because we were on dealer advisory boards together before as dealers, as all of the positions that you hold. And the most successful ones for the products that any of us will still advocate for had roadmaps and had a voting system on how they were going to decide what was going to be the next thing and how they were going to bring it out to us, because it's evolving that fast. This AI, it touches every part of your business. It's not just the advertising, the communicating with customers, or the sales. It's your service drive. It's how you hire, how you recruit, how you train, how you pay, how you even pay the bills in the office. There's AI programs right now for controllers that will tell you every day, like, here's the 2 alerts for what should go out today, even though it's not due because it has this likelihood of cutting this much down out of this or whatever. Here's what your lights should be set at as the showroom because the electric company already has said that during this time there's a power surge. So let's auto adjust that. These are cheap things that already exist outside of our industry and now are being brought in and incorporated in. So it really is every part. It's a huge deal. And if you don't know where to start, honestly, feel free to start with me. Ask me. I'll tell you if I don't know, and I'll tell you who to stay away from. That's how I started doing this, and that's why I do it, because I don't want to see people getting taken advantage of, and I don't have a kickback coming from those companies, so you got nothing to lose.
It's just about making the overall experience for the consumer better through AI, simplifying what AI is going to do for you based upon what you need to solve, building a strategy together with somebody who's going to help get you through the next 6 months or year of education, whether it's you as a dealer principal or a GM who's taking on this education role in store, as Bobbie and Jim have talked about, of paying attention to this and evolving this as well. But I mean, the endless components and abilities of it. And I challenge everybody, if you're writing custom comments in Viato right now, stop. Go to OpenAI, get familiar with ChatGPT, drop the vehicle in and tell it to write you a custom comment.
For free. Not just a custom comment, one that works, one that actually will get somebody to click on your stuff. Isn't it crazy that used car managers are still writing comments spending hours a week writing comments for cars because they think that they have to, that there's not another choice? Blows my mind.
If I was not familiar with AI in today's space as a GM or a sales manager, that would be my first step to introduce myself, because it's something that's very simple and very easy that can produce immediate results, which is going to really open up the eyes to, oh, wow, this has a lot more behind the hood. Talking to either reach out myself or Jim or Bobbie to say, okay, I see it now. I see the vision. What else can we do from here?
Yeah, keeping in mind too that A/B tests are your friend. You don't need them as much with AI anymore because they can actually detect it, but you're going to need it to believe that it's actually real. So maybe do half of the cars on your site, or maybe go pick 10. Take your 10 cars that you've been waiting the longest to move, the oldest ones, the ones that you're like, it's just chilling here. I'm 120 days in on my turn on these units. Go ahead and go use it for that. And then don't change anything else. And just watch it see the increase in traffic through your analytics, through your lead sources, through your CRM the conversion that happens from what a customer actually wants to see. We're not psychic, so we can't do that. And our brains don't process things like computers, but this stuff does. And that's a free tool that he just told you about. So it'd be ideal for you to go play with it.
Well, Jarrod, we have burned through an hour.
Crazy.
An hour already?
In the last 2 minutes or a minute and a half, what have we not told people that you wish we had told them so far?
Learn, educate, and continue to apply yourself to being the best of the situation, or, as you say, Jim, surrounding yourself with the right best people of that situation.
Cover your weaknesses.
It's just, look at Brian Kramer and I at Germain. Hello. I mean, there's a reason why we work so well in tandem.
Right.
That sort of sounds like may the force be with you.
Star Wars references.
That's a couple months. That's a couple months away. But yes, no, it's Jim. It's learning and being aware of the surroundings. You're going to see it everywhere here in every business vertical. You already experience it day in, day out. It's just like the evolution of the smartphone.
Right.
It's time to learn and put the flip phone away, Jim.
Although they're
Oh my
patenting a new
gosh, I
flip
got a
phone.
rotary dial cell phone.
Well,
this has been a lot of fun. Wave goodbye to the audience, guys.